607, 295. Those numbers might not mean anything to you, but it's been 607 days since my son was taken from our home, and 295 days since I've seen him. I've seen him twice in 607 days. We spent almost every single day together prior to that, in the best interest of the children, right? This is my child. This is kidnapping, human trafficking. I don't know whether my son is alive or dead. I don't know how tall he is. I don't know how many teeth he has. I don't know if his hair is long or short. I do know that he didn't get to say goodbye to my grandmother, though. We never get that back. So I have difficulties making these videos. It has hindered me able to share what's going on in our case and our story. I get past that because there's some crazy stuff going on and people need to know because we need help. So where my son is apparently is home orphanage type thing. And I say apparently because I've been cut off from him for almost a year. I haven't heard his voice since December, I believe, 2021, I'm sorry. I have absolutely no verification that he's where they say he is. I have no verification that he's even in this state. He's even in this country. He's even alive. I have absolutely no concrete evidence of that. Following the passing of my grandmother, I have just had insane anxiety and premonition type things. Now, I've called the location he's at. I've been there and I have attempted to connect with the people and the individuals, professionals that are working with him. I have full rights, medical rights, still have parental rights. However, I have been obstructed 100% almost since the day he was taken to the hospital out of my care. Nobody's helping. So I need your guys' help. I called to be connected back in, I believe, February of this year with the professionals working with my son, and I was told that I couldn't speak to them. Just super interesting. I think the most important person to speak to be the mother. I've been the sole caregiver his entire life until this. One, if you're providing medical treatment to him, I never consented. And two, wouldn't you need me information to learn more about him? But they've obstructed me 100%. I haven't spoken to a therapist, a medical professional, rights that are being violated. They have not been taken away from me. Even in the service logs of the department, it states that I have all my rights. However, when I call any of these people, they tell me that the social workers told them that they can't talk to me. His school last year said that red list or a red flag list. They went out of their way to find out if that was accurate because they had a weird feeling about it. They found out that it wasn't. They connected with me. And last year of school, at least, was really awesome because I was getting pictures, I was getting messages from his teacher, I was getting calls from the principal, RSP teacher. None of them do that this year. Only speculate that perhaps they've been threatened. They weren't like this last year. There was no falling out there. What happened between last year and this year? So at this point, I have absolutely no idea where my son is, how he's doing, treatment he's on, what medication he's on. Yesterday, I called back the facility. I asked to speak to the people that were working with him once again. Oh, you're not on the list. I said, I don't have to be on a list. I'm his mother. I'm his mother. I don't need to be on a list. Went back and forth. In any event, she connected me to the director, apparently nonprofit. This lady once previously, and she was such a jerk to me. And I told her, I said, I think that you are incorrect and I want you to please fax me any information signed by a judicial officer valid saying that I can't speak to anybody involved in my son or in his medical. And she said, no, I'm not going to do that in her most voice. I went back and forth, asking the social worker, why would you tell these people they cannot communicate with me? She, in writing, said, I never said that. Call them back. So obviously I called them back. Anything, merry-go-round. Hi, Wrigley. It is your 10th birthday. And we're here at your school land, and we're both wearing red for your birthday. Red band shirt, your favorite color. But hopefully I get to give you a big 10th birthday hug. I got tired of this merry-go-round. So I walked into the DCFS office in Lakewood. I filmed this. A lot of you guys have seen this because I had a friend on the line at the time too. So an actual witness. So I walked in, calmly signed my name, asked to speak to the social workers. A couple seconds later, security guard comes out and tells me I'm not allowed there. Why not? Oh, pandemic. I said, there's a pandemic still? Event. I did walk outside, but the man couldn't answer my questions. He couldn't tell me why I was not allowed into this publicly funded public building. I was not doing anything that I wasn't supposed to. I was being respectful. He kicked me out. I was already outside of the building, and he told me that if I didn't leave, that he was going to call law enforcement. I said, if you feel the need, call law enforcement. So that whole thing happened. Later, I FOIA body cam footage. Even though I have my own footage, I wanted the body cam footage. I received an email that said, I'll supply you with this because it does not exist. Why would the body cam footage not exist? So there's a couple reasons that I went there in person. One, these people don't respond to their calls. They don't respond. I'm talking about the department. They don't respond to my emails. Maybe once every 30, 40 emails of that. So I'm going to go in there so we can settle this merry-go-round and I could be a part of my son's life that you've obstructed almost 2 years now when I still have rights. But no, they called law enforcement. Everybody's colluding together. Law enforcement just walks up. They don't even know my name. They walk in and they say, you are trespassing. Yesterday, I called the facility my son's at. It's called By Bakers, and it's in Altadena, California. The director called me back And again, you know, this is the one, the see you next Tuesday. So she called me back, and I just wanted to confirm that she was the same person. And I, you know, was very polite. I said, I believe we talked before. She was extremely rude right off the bat. Extremely rude. I began to ask her questions, and she interrupted by saying, "How can I help you, Miss Joseph?" Anytime I open my mouth, "How can I help you, Miss Joseph?" I said, "You know what? You don't even know why I called. You don't even know me. You have my child. There's no reason for you to be acting like this and be rude. I'd like to confirm your position. You said I was the director." I asked, like you said, I was the director. I called for specific reasons. Answer my questions. It was so ridiculous. I felt like I was 14. Long story short, I said something along the lines of like, "You're not answering my question." She said, "I'm answering what's relevant. What's relevant is what I'm asking because I'm asking it. It's obviously relevant to me." Okay. And what's interesting about relevant is I got this message from one of the social worker emails that is responded to. And she said, "Oh, sorry. We only respond to what's relevant." This is an entire scheme. This lady ends up hanging up on me. Again, she hung up on me last time. Prior to her hanging up, I said that I am going to call the Altadena Sheriff's Department. And that's exactly what I did. And I actually told my attorney I was going to do it first because my attorney hasn't even talked to my son. We don't know if he's even here. When I gave them the address to do a wellness check, the dispatcher along the lines, "Oh, it's the group home." And I got the feeling that maybe they weren't going to do a wellness check. So I explained the situation. I have not seen him. I have not heard him. I don't know if he's alive. It's the honest truth. I said, "Please." And she said, "Yeah, of course, you know, we'll call you later after they go and do the check." I never received a call. I don't know whether there was a check or not. I demand to know that my son is okay. This is absolutely insane. I called the FBI, no response. I've Department of Justice, Department of Education. My son's testing at a kindergarten level right now. He's in 5th grade. That was not happening in he was recently diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, that says in the DSM-5 that depending on the severity of it can be considered worse than bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. My son did not leave my home with the diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. This is not okay. This is absolutely not okay. None of this stuff was happening in my care. I've seen my son twice in almost 2 years. I am not a criminal. My son was never, ever, ever, ever used in any way. Well taken care of. We live in a 3-bedroom house. I have an amazing job. He had a good life. He's got a service dog. He's got a 15-foot trampoline, lived down the street from his school, drum lesson, baseball. This is absolutely insanity. Nobody's helping me. Ted Bundy got to see his children in prison. A man who was murdering people. And I can't even talk to the people working with my son. Don't see anything wrong with this, then you're part of the problem. Sure, there are so many people out there that want to know why. No, this can't happen. This can't happen. No, there's reasons, there's protections, there's people. Are there? Because I've reached out to all of them and no one will help me. In fact, I went to the sheriff's department down the street from my house the other day to make a police report that they refused to take. Who do you go to? You tell me, tell you right now why this is happening. Because the fact that I was exercising my rights into a fucking crime and they are retaliating against me by abusing my son. Do you think parents and a social worker's inability to get along with one another justifies what has happened to my child? They've stolen almost 2 years of my son's life and mine. And we